Yep, we're recording now.
Yep, we're recording.
There we go.
Yay!
There we are.
Excellent.
We're figuring it out together. All right. So the purpose of this video is to introduce anyone who is new to using iNaturalist. So there's just a couple of things that just kind of take a few tries to learn how to do. And so that's one great thing about iNaturalist is that it actually is pretty user-friendly. And they also have their own videos, how-tos, and all that to help you troubleshoot. So if you do have any questions as you're using it, there's probably a resource on iNaturalist.org for you. But we're just going to go through real quick today a bit more about what iNaturalist does, how to use it, and what we're kind of looking for on Earth Day. And so I went and took some pictures of a couple of centipedes earlier that I found here at the Wildlife Sanctuary, and I will walk you through how I upload those. And I will be using my desktop, but you can use an Apple app or an Android app for this. So I have my Android phone that I can kind of show you what it looks like on an Android, but mostly I'll be walking you through using a desktop. So, Robin, anything you want to share about this project before I share my screen?
Just adding that for kids, there's a nice little bingo game that Courtney made that's on the website. And so that'll just be like a nice way to kind of give yourself a sense of purpose. So, and you can make it competitive and get kids outside too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll show that when I share my screen. I'll show where you can find that bingo card. And Deb, do you have a question?
Well, Courtney, I can hear Robin really loudly, and I cannot hear you as loudly as her, so I don't know about volume. If you could turn your volume up a little bit.
Is that better? Did that work better? No. And it might be how I'm using my speaker.
Maybe just get as close to your speakers wherever they are.
I'll try to talk loudly.
Oh, that's good. That's better. Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, so I will share my screen. Sharing. All right, so first, what am I sharing? So this is the bingo sheet that Robin was talking about. And it's just to kind of give, if you have younger kids, if you want to give them some incentives. We really aren't offering like any prizes for completing the bingo sheet. You as a parent, if you have a kid that wants to do the bingo sheet, you're more than welcome to like offer a prize if they get bingo. But it's really just to kind of give them an idea of what they can be looking for. And so a tree taller than you, something you found under a rock, something maybe that looked really weird and you don't know what it is. So it's just kind of to make this a little bit more fun for younger kids. What we do ask with this project is that you use native species, or sorry, I shouldn't say native, but things that are wild in your yard. So if you planted a cherry tree or an apple tree, we ask that you don't use something cultivated. So don't take a picture of your apple tree and upload it, but you can definitely look on your apple tree for some critters and look on your apple tree and find maybe a couple of bugs or something that are living on the apple tree and upload those. That's definitely encouraged. So the point of iNaturalist is to build this community of people all over the world who are out there every day, and they see things that maybe scientists, you know, if it was just that scientist going out looking for that species themselves, they would have a harder time looking. So we are really acting as the eyes for scientists by uploading all of these specimens. So this is the website that Robin created for the city for Earth Week. So you can just go to Critter and Plant Hunt and then scroll down and you'll find that bingo sheet there. And you can click on it and it'll come up. So to use iNaturalist, this is what it looks like. If I go to the home screen, well, I guess, so this is what it looks like when it comes up. And it'll just kind of give me any updates. So if yesterday I uploaded an earthworm that I found under a rock, and somebody added an identification, and then any other updates. So you can go to your own observations there, and it'll bring up all of your observations that you've ever done. To add these, you can either, this bar is always up here, so you can hit that upload, or you can add observations. One thing I do like about using desktop is that you can do a batch edit. So if you have multiple things from one location, you can upload them all at one time. And it'll know that it's all for that location, which is pretty nice. So I'm just going to hit add observation. Is my volume okay still?
Yes,
Okay. Uh-oh.
I'm muting myself.
Okay.
Thanks.
Oh, now I can't get out of this. All right, there we go. So when you go into the desktop, you can either just drag your pictures over, or you can choose a file. So I already have the pictures up. So these are the pictures I took yesterday. And when you are adding photos into iNaturalist, you want them to be something that somebody else can come and look at it and know exactly what it is. So you want them to try to be as clear as possible. So no blurry photos. You want to try to get as close as you can, and try to take them from different angles. And so what I use, and I'll show this once I'm done sharing my screen, I have a mason jar that I spray painted white. And then you can see that there's a little measuring tape, so I glued a measuring tape to the bottom. And so this way, by painting it white, you can see whatever critter I'm taking a picture of a little bit better. And it helps for my camera, it helps to bring it into focus. And then for anyone else, where size is important, they can look and see how long that specimen is. And so that might help also with identification if it's something that tends to get larger or something that tends to stay small. So this is what I use. So I usually take quite a few photos just to make sure I've got some better focus. So I'm going to choose a few different pictures that are from different angles. So I'm going to choose that one. I think this is the other one. Really kind of the glamour shot of this centipede. And I think there's one of its little head. All right, so those are the three that I want to choose. And now I'm just going to drag them over. And so if you do more than one, you might kind of see where I've drug it over, that I've got this little plus sign. If you do it on top of your first picture, it loads them all as the same observation. So then you can go back and forth to different ones. That way they don't, otherwise they'll be separate. And I'll show you that with the third picture. So if I didn't do that, it would load them as two separate. And so if that happens, you can just drag it on over and it'll go ahead and add that to it. So in your phone, if you're uploading, if you've taken pictures on your phone and you want to upload them, you can choose multiple pictures at a time and upload them of the same species. Or you can, in the app, you can take a picture from your phone and then just add as many pictures, or it limits you to how many pictures you can add. So now I've uploaded my photo. And so now I want to add some information about the species. So automatically it uploaded to the time, and my date or my time is wrong on my computer, or really on my camera. So it usually comes in wrong. That's okay. You can add your location. So location is kind of important for this project. So if you're doing this from your phone, it'll automatically take like a GPS point of where you took that photo. If you're uploading, you're gonna probably have to search for it. I did add Red Lodge, Montana into iNaturalist. So I just kind of created a shapefile. So I added Red Lodge, and then you can drag this, make it bigger or smaller depending on where you want it to go. So I know I took that at the wildlife sanctuary, and I'm gonna keep it pretty generic. So I'm just gonna kind of drag it over. So you'll see down here, geo-privacy. When I do this, if I'm taking a picture of something in my own backyard, I will usually change my geo-privacy to obscured. And that just makes it so any other users can't see your specific address. So it just kind of tells you it's Red Lodge, Montana, rather than it being a specific address. Or if you really want to make it private, you can privatize the location. And that only allows curators of iNaturalist to see the observation. So that's kind of important. When I've done bioblitzes in the past, private is when I find something that's maybe an endangered species, and I don't want everyone to know where it is. I don't want that ability for someone to come onto iNaturalist and find, say, where I'm from, North Carolina, we had pitcher plants. So I don't want them to know where there's a pitcher plant colony and come and poach those plants. So that's what I use the private and obscured mostly for. But since we are encouraging you guys to do this from your backyard, you're more than welcome to use those options. The downside to using obscured or private is that for this project, your observation won't come up under Red Lodge, under our Earth Day project on iNaturalist. So if you are able to keep it open, this is a good community. No one's going to come onto iNaturalist looking for your address. But I totally understand if you want to do those other features. It's really, the goal of Wednesday is really to kind of get you outside and, observing what's in your backyard and getting to know your backyard a little bit better. So once I have all my location choices up, I'm just gonna put update observation. So now that's in. If this was something, so like I said, if you had a cultivated plant that you took a picture of, that's where you would check that right there. If you wanted to add a description, so descriptions are nice, especially if you're taking a picture of something that's a pollinator. You can even add what plant you found it on, so people might know a little bit more information about what types of nectar host plant sources that pollinator has. So this is the fun part, the species name. So you literally could know nothing about plants and animals and still be a good citizen scientist on iNaturalist. So I know that this is a centipede. I don't know what kind of centipede. One thing I do like is that they will give you suggested species and like general descriptions of what it is. So you could potentially look this up. I wouldn't always trust it. And I wouldn't just go ahead and pick something that, oh, that looks like a brown centipede and click on it. I tend to aim to be as generic as I can. So if some people have a hard time knowing, seeing the difference between millipede and a centipede. So if you didn't know, if you weren't sure that this was a centipede at all, you could just put in insect and then choose class Insecta. And so then somebody else might come in behind you as an identifier and say, oh, I know that's a centipede in this genus, and they might make it more specific. And eventually maybe someone will know exactly what species it is. And once two people have confirmed that it's that species, then it becomes research grade. And that's when scientists will be able to use that observation for their research.
And so projects here, one of the great things about our project is that it just, if as long as you're going within Red Lodge, within that shapefile that I've created, it will automatically add your project. So you don't have to add it to the Earth Day Red Lodge project when you're doing this. So I just submit. And there it is. And so now, if you needed to, you could go back through and edit this. Sometimes if I'm doing a lot at once out in the field, I'll just upload things as I get them and then go in later and then really try to dig into what species I found, so you can edit it later on. And that's how to use iNaturalist. It's much simpler on an Android or iPhone. You just kind of hit, there's a little plus button that you can hit. That's it. Yeah, I will show you what our project looks like. So if you want to look, you can just search Red Lodge and it'll come up, Earth Day 2020. So right now, I don't have any filters really on this other than this shapefile. So over the course of the history of iNaturalist, all of the observations that people have uploaded. So 87 observations, 65 species, 46 identifiers. Those are the people that have contributed to identifications. After Earth Day, you have all day to go out and take observations. So after that, I will make this so we only see ones from that day, and then we will have sort of a little live meeting where we can all see what everybody has found that day and how many species we found, and just kind of celebrate all of the cool things that you guys find. And if you only go out and you find 10 worms and you upload 10 worms, that's a success. You got outside, you enjoyed a beautiful day in Red Lodge, and you contributed to some citizen science. Okay, any questions? I will stop sharing my screen. Maybe. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Courtney. I was following along with everything on my iPhone too. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's all the same stuff. Like you can change the location, the geo-privacy, whether it was captive or cultivated. So yeah, it's pretty similar on the iPhone app as well.
Yeah, and this is my Android, so when I open my app, it goes immediately to all of my observations, and then you'll see at the bottom there's a little green button plus sign, and that's just how you add an observation. And you can take pictures, so my phone takes better pictures with the camera app, and then I upload them later versus trying to take a picture in the app itself. So everybody's going to have a different system. Some people have really nice cameras, so they might want to use that and use a desktop. Just whatever works best for you. So I did say, so this is my jar that I use. It's just a mason jar that I painted. And what I really like about it is that my camera lens fits right over the top. So I can go swoop in, catch a bumblebee or something and never have to touch the bee or worry about hurting the bee, and then put my camera right over it and snap a bunch of photos. And then when I'm done, I just take my camera off and the bee flies out. I really like that method. The other way that you can do is take like a sheet of paper and just take it underneath a tree branch and tap that tree, like tap it about 10 times. And you might have a bunch of little bugs that fall out of the tree, and then you can snap pictures of the bugs. So that's a method I've used for a caterpillar citizen science project. So you'd be kind of surprised. I found once I forget what it was called, but it looked like a tiny little dragon, but it was a bug that I never knew existed until into that project. So you'll be surprised, I think, what you might find. Okay.
That's
I think
awesome.
that's all I have. Deb, do you have any questions? Was that
That was
were
great,
you able to follow
Courtney.
that?
Thanks. I wondered about, so apparently if I use Apple products, and I've got an iPhone and a Mac, a desktop Mac. So, and they sync up. So when I take photos on my phone and I come home, they automatically sync up on my computer.
Oh,
So,
perfect.
so if I don't have enough room on my phone, I can do the iNaturalist on, go and sign up on my computer
Yeah.
and use the photos that were downloaded. So that'll save me that. So, and I actually like using my computer because I can use a mouse.
Mhm.
Click. It's just a bigger screen and everything to navigate.
I like it too because I like the batch edit feature, because if it's all from the same location, then you can just do one location for all of them.
And that is on a desktop only.
Yep.
A batch feature. Yeah, I like that too. Very scientific way to do it. Yeah.
Okay. I think.
So Wednesday, Robin, is that what we go out and do on Wednesday? All day Wednesday, we take photos and identify them and load them into the app and see what Red Lodge surrounding area, I guess. Yeah, Carbon County. Is it just Red Lodge? It's just supposed to be Red Lodge though, right?
Yeah, it's just Red Lodge. But if you want to do it, get out there and go for it. So iNaturalist hosts a City Nature Challenge every year, and it's too late for us to sign up for it this year, but on Earth Day, cities across the world will be participating in a City Nature Challenge. So if this is something that, Red Lodge has a lot of fun with doing, then I will sign us up to do a City Nature Challenge, and then we'll have to go up against, lots of cities across the United States. So yeah, it's fun. I think you'll find it can be a little addicting.
I think it could be. What a wonderful challenge. I love treasure hunts, so this is fun.
Great.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
Robin, anything you want to add to wrap this up?
No, just Deb, thank you so much for showing up and asking questions. I also learned a lot. I'm really excited now to just look under rocks and stuff again. I used to do that so much when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I hope there's less snow on the ground.
Yeah, well, and I'm going to push this out and make sure everybody knows there's a recording of it, because I know there was a lot of interest in doing this today, and who knows what keeps people from being able to be on a call like this. But I'm glad you recorded it, and I'll make sure friends with kids and such pass this along.
Cool. Yeah, Deb, I'll send you a link to the recording when it's posted.
Good. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Deb.
You too, Courtney.